Welcome to Get Smart Office Edition.
The show where we help you laugh about and get better at office life.
I'm Shannon.
And I'm Laura.
And it's Friday.
Woo! On Fridays, we share the real stories that inspired our skits and tips that we share on Mondays and Wednesdays. Plus, you get to hear the bloopers that our editor thinks are funny, and hopefully you will too.
Now, let's get smart.
And silly.
So, Laura.
Shannon.
You work in a department that does kind of internal customer service.
Yes.
Has anybody ever broken anything?
Should I try to lie again? No,
since you suck at it, no.
That has never happened in the history of a business services office. Yes, people have broken things. They have snapped off keys in cabinets. Mm-hmm. They have dropped powdered toner on the carpet.
Oh no, that's awful.
They have done all kinds of things. But in order to get those things cleaned up, they have to submit a request through us. So, you know,
mean they have to tell someone?
Yeah,
that
they have to tell someone.
Goofed up?
They have to tell someone in order to either get into their cabinet or get the spill cleaned.
Have you ever had somebody bring you something broken or tell you about something broken and go, I don't know how it happened?
I can't think of anything specifically like that, but I feel like you have a specific story.
I actually have several, one of which is actually me. So I have worked in IT for a long time, and I have definitely had the experience of people breaking stuff. And then trying to be like, I don't know what happened. It just magically broke and I don't know. Which we all know is just malarkey. And
my dog ate my homework.
Exactly. Which, okay. So I understand, like, people don't want to get in trouble at work, right?
Yeah.
So they're afraid when they break something that they're going to be in big trouble, especially if it's like your first office job and you've never been around when something's been broken before,
right.
You know, those kinds of things. I understand people being nervous, but what people need to realize is if you break something and you immediately alert someone and say, hey, I just did this thing. It was an accident. This is how it happened. And you don't embellish. You don't try to make excuses. You just tell them what happened.
Yeah.
Most of the time, people are actually pretty cool about that. Being in IT, when you come to us and you break something, and we know you broke it, nobody is under any delusions that you did not break this thing, but you tell us that you did not break this thing.
I did not spill coffee all over my new keyboard.
First of all, IT will help you, but you will be on their blacklist forever.
If you lie?
If you lie.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So the next time you need help and you need to call them and they need to help you, you will be last.
For sure.
Last
Vibes.
on their
Sorry.
list. Harken back to an old episode. So that is one of those things. Just tell people the truth of what happened. It's okay.
Yeah.
So here are my two stories, actual events that have happened.
The following is a true story.
In the third week that I worked at my new job, I'm still there, I was setting up a training for our executive leadership team. And I was setting up in a training room and I needed to plug in my laptop to the projector, blah, blah, blah. And there was an HDMI cord. Well, this was before my office got smart about how to run cords along the floor. And I did not see that HDMI cord coming out of the wall. So not only did I trip over this HDMI cord, which I did not get hurt, I was totally fine, but I yanked it out of the wall so hard that I bent the outlet frame. Oh, no. And I completely snapped the HDMI cords, like the end of it. So I immediately was like, oh no, I just started this new job and I just broke this thing. So the first thing I did was I walked over to the IT manager and I said, I just tripped over the HDMI cord in the training room and I have busted it and I may have damaged the outlets.
You may have.
Well, I wasn't sure if it was still workable. I was like, I had definitely like the plastic on it. I was like, yeah, that's a little wonky now, but I was hoping the outlet itself was okay.
Like, I expected you to say that you broke the cable or the connector.
I did break the connector. I
didn't expect you to say that you like
bent the outlet.
Yeah. The outlet out of the wall.
The whole outlet did not come out of the wall, but it So I immediately told him, and thankfully I had not actually damaged the part that was in the wall. So it was okay. It still worked. And he just had to replace the HDMI. And they were totally like, it's totally cool, totally fine about it. The next story that happened was we hired a brand new executive. She had been there maybe a month, had gotten a brand new, $2,000 laptop. She comes in and she goes, I took my laptop home and I had a very tall glass of water and I spilled it on my laptop and my laptop now does not work. And she was very frank about it. And we were like, it's okay.
Yeah.
We will get you a new laptop. Please keep your water away from your computer from now on.
Yeah.
And she has been there for 4 years and she has never spilled water on her laptop again. And we love helping her because we don't have to worry about her hiding things. So it's one of those things.
Great.
Stuff happens. It's okay that it happens. It's just, own up to it. So tell them the truth. They'll help you out. If anybody ever gets mad at you or something, well, you know what? They're human too, and they probably just farted in their cubicle and made it smell. So they have problems too. So whatever. But literally just own up to things.
As you were telling that story, I did think of something.
Tell me.
It's about cell phones.
Oh.
And just the fact that people drop them.
That would never happen. I would never do that. It has never happened.
Yeah. People drop them and they break the screen.
Do you guys issue cell phones at work to your employees?
We do. Yeah. So, we'll talk about somebody who say, oh, this is his second phone in less than a year, but, we'll take care of it.
Do you make them have life-proof cases after a certain number of times?
They do come issued with OtterBox cases.
And they still manage to break their screens?
Yeah.
That's impressive because I have definitely broken my screen multiple times because I am notorious for dropping and or flinging my phone on accident.
I don't
but
know.
With an OtterBox case, how do you do that?
Probably because some of these people have to do with construction.
Oh, so they're around actual sharp pointy things.
So they might actually be on a construction site and accidentally drop their phone on a sharp rock or something. I don't even know.
Mm-hmm. Just a nail sticking up in the ground.
Yeah, just rebar.
And they straight screen down. I shall impale my phone.
Spike the phone down on the rebar.
I am cell phone the impaler.
Look, I don't know what happens at those construction sites, man.
I'm sure there are stories about that. What happens at construction sites stays at construction sites.
Yeah, but it's just if you dropped your phone, that's fine. Just come in and say that.
Yeah. I dropped this.
Yeah.
It fell into the mouth of a crocodile.
I dropped this in the water at the lake, whatever. Just say what happened.
Yeah. Because then it also helps. Well, I will say it also helps with the people who are receiving the broken thing to know if it's worth trying to fix or not.
Yeah.
So that actually does help. So, yeah. So, yeah, just tell people what happened. It'll be okay. We promise.
You will survive.
All right, everybody. On that note, go break stuff or don't.
No, stay safe. Okay, Shannon. You just told me that the little skit for the I'm voting for episode came from a personal experience.
Yes. So I definitely, obviously, I think we've all experienced people talking politics at work.
Yeah.
Every workplace says, don't talk politics at work.
Yeah.
You might offend someone. Oh no. If they're offended, they will die. Which they won't. They might think they will, but they won't. Anyway, so I understand why workplaces give that advice, right? Because they don't want animosity in the workplace. And I personally, as an employee, do not want to have animosity with my coworkers in the workplace either. So
sure,
understand the policy. However, politics are going to come up at work. It is bound to happen. The closer you get to an election, the more likely it is. Anyway, so what happened in my work, thankfully, this was at a local politics level, so it wasn't quite as dramatic.
Not a presidential
election.
Oh,
no. So there were a couple of coworkers, and they were having a discussion about something that our city had decided to do. And I've actually been involved in like city committees and stuff. So I actually know some of the stuff that goes on behind the scenes just because like I volunteered and, was involved in some stuff. So they're having this whole discussion and they're saying how like stupid this policy is, blah, 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 blah. And because I knew something about it, I was in the conversation and I said, well, actually, what you need to realize is here's what's actually driving that. And it's coming from the state. And here's how this interacts with this. And this is why the city's making this change. And so I was able to gently say, this is why they're doing this. And I don't think it's actually a bad thing because of these reasons. And it was one of those situations where I could see my coworkers kind of go, oh, there's like a different opinion than mine? What? Oh my goodness. And this person isn't angry at me and they're not yelling at me and we're just having a discussion. And it was like this epiphany of, oh, we can disagree and you don't hate me and I don't hate you. And we had this whole discussion about it. And at the end of it, they still didn't like the policy and that's totally fine. Mm-hmm. Like I wasn't upset at them. They weren't upset at me. We had a whole healthy discussion about it and we still worked together. Great. No problem. And it's one of those things where I think the more that we feel pressured to either never say anything, which is what the workplace policy is, or we feel the pressure to just always agree with whatever anybody's saying, it's just so disingenuous, first of all. And then secondly, it breeds toxicity. And we've been seeing all that toxicity in our entire culture.
Yeah.
So I wanted to give some people with this episode, I specifically wanted to give some people some realistic ways of having discussions in the workplace.
Yeah.
So I'm sure you've had experiences with politics getting talked at work too.
Yes. Yes. We had someone who retired recently, so that will give you kind of an age range.
People retire at 25 now, right?
Oh, yeah, sure. Absolutely.
I'm just way behind the game.
Right.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, me too. No, he liked conspiracy theories.
Oh, no.
Yes. So it was just best not to engage.
Yep.
But he just had a loud voice, so you couldn't help but hear. And then we were always like, what if upper management comes in while you're talking about this? Like, you need to be careful. And he never really...
He's like, what are they going to do? I'm about to retire.
Changed his ways. Yeah, I don't know. But it was conspiracy theory stuff.
I will say the conspiracy theorists are probably not the best ones to get in a discussion with, no matter what side they're on, right?
Yeah.
It's my brother, one of my brothers, used to work with a guy named Kyle. And every day my brother would come home with some other crazy conspiracy. And we're talking like tin hat kind of that out there conspiracy kind of thing. Yeah. And so we just called him Conspiracy Kyle. Yep.
Nice alliteration.
Yeah. It works pretty well.
Yeah. I didn't have it with this guy.
No.
It was just like, oh, Dan.
Oh, Dan.
Oh, Dan.
What's wrong with you, Dan?
Yeah.
It's conspiracy theories. Like I think that they're fun from a well, what if kind of going down that rabbit hole as a storyteller, somebody thinking in fiction, I think it can be really entertaining to have those conversations with conspiracy theorists. But I also don't want to be the person who's like, I totally want to encourage you in this whacked out conspiracy about how dogs are secretly our overlords.
Well, okay. It wasn't that. It was politics related, mm-hmm. Extreme.
Not even something that's a little out there, but not too bad. We're talking crazy extreme.
Yeah. Because, I enjoy unsolved mysteries and true crime podcasts mm-hmm, and stuff mm-hmm. And I was listening to something about the Zodiac killer and the Manhattan Project, that kind of conspiracy theory. Fun. Yeah. What he was talking about?
Not fun. Just make everybody around you uncomfortable.
Very uncomfortable, yeah.
And that's the other thing, too. If you're the other person who likes to talk about politics, realize not everybody does. Because, and if you want to have those conversations, those are the kind of conversations that are better to have one-on-one with your coworkers. If you want to discuss something, political or whatever, and if you're cool with like people disagreeing with you, sure. Like have those discussions, have lunch together, have those discussions. Cool. Awesome. Maybe don't be like speaking crazy loudly in the middle of the office.
In Cubeland? Yeah, don't do that.
Yeah. Cubeland is very echoey, especially with like, you have those like lights above the ceiling tiles and they all echo.
Yes.
Yeah. Not good. So, yep. Anyway, so I hope this helps some people to just realize that like, sometimes it's better to not engage. But if you do, there are healthy ways to do it that it can actually like build your relationships with others.
Yeah, I liked it.
So
thanks.
Yeah. Hope it helps. PSA from Laura and Shannon this week. So, all right, everybody. Have a great week.
Bye. We're going.
Oh, oops. Okay.
Moops.
Oh, so you'll do the dear listener and I'll do 1 and 3.
I am the dear listener.
You are the dear listener, except you're also the dear talker.
I'm the.
Yeah.
Right. As you were a child. Wait, don't tell me you're on his side.
The side I'm on is irrelevant. I think it's just more important that we, are able to not do... able to read. That we are able to read.
Able to finish the sentence. Thanks for listening. Subscribe to catch new episodes of Tips and Skits every Monday and Wednesday, and join us for our Real Story segment and our blooper reel on Fridays.
Want to share your hilarious office stories with us? We might turn them into an episode.
Send us your thoughts and feedback at gsoe@diecastmediagroup.com and follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube.
Special thanks to Rebecca, who created animations for our skits, which you can watch on our YouTube channel. Also, thanks to Wendy, our audio editor, Lelia, our social media manager, and Austin, our technical engineer.
If you would like to support the show, review and share with your friends, or consider supporting us on Patreon, links are in the show notes.
Get Smart Office Edition is a DieCast Media Group production.
Ta-da! Why have to bring out the robot voice? I did not need to do that.